Welcome to New Life Recovery webinar series. This session is called Am I an Addict? It's intended to simply provide a basic understanding of how to identify varying degrees of obsession and addiction trends in your life. Let's start by looking at the steps that lead to addiction. This starts with habits. A habit is defined as a routine or a behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur unconsciously. But once the behavior comes to the individual's attention, they can simply choose to stop the behavior using willpower. They simply pay attention to the behavior and choose not to do it. No help from an outside source is needed. While breaking a habit may be challenging, most can be permanently stopped within a few weeks by consciously monitoring your actions and using willpower. Whether your particular issue is porn, masturbation, affairs, lusting, fantasies, or any other sexual sort, it's possible you're not dealing with a bad habit at this point. Because you are here looking for insight and help, it indicates a progression past the bad habit stage. It's likely you are starting to sense that your willpower alone is not enough. This leads to the question, have you tried to stop the behavior multiple times, only to find you don't seem to have the willpower to follow through? Certain sexual habits give way to obsessions. Obsession is defined as thoughts that reoccur and persist despite efforts to ignore or combat them. With sex, many experience comfort and pleasure by fantasizing about sexual acts or replaying pornographic images in their mind. What they are really experiencing is lust. The reason the thoughts keep reoccurring, even though the individual would prefer they go away, is that it produces a form of comfort and pleasure the mind has become dependent upon. This is where the real danger starts. The comfort lust provides becomes a coping mechanism for life and life's problems. This is why the thoughts recur even though they are unwanted. The mind has become dependent on the comfort the lust provides. Even at this early stage of addiction, willpower has become ineffective and the cycle of failure takes hold. This prompts the question, do you find yourself preoccupied with thoughts of sex, fantasy, or lust? Addiction is defined as the continued repetition of a behavior despite adverse consequences. But how does that apply to a sex addict? Well, we could say it's the compulsive preoccupation with the need for a sexual event or experience. The individual feels compelled to continue the behavior even though it produces negative consequences in their life. So at this point, let's ask some simple yes/no questions about you. Keep in mind, it's common for a person struggling with a sexual addiction to deny the severity of their problem. There is no doubt that answering the questions truthfully will take some courage. The questions are designed to clarify the extent of your problem, assuming you have one. Do you feel bad or uncomfortable about your sexual behavior? Do you use images or memories to help your performance during sex? Are you afraid others will find out about your sexual behavior? Do you resort to sex when you feel stress or negative emotions? Have you ever lost track of time when you've been involved sexually? Have you ever sworn off the behavior multiple times only to give in to the craving over and over? If you answered yes to any of these questions, it may be an indication that you have a problem with compulsive sexual behavior or even sexual addiction. We invite you to take our complete test found on our website for a more in-depth analysis. It will require a small amount of courage and a lot of honesty, but you will gain clarity of your situation just by asking the questions.